In this video, we're gonna show you the 5 steps necessary to creating high quality generative video for your channel. If you love movies, you are in the right place. My name is Griff Furst. I've been working in the film industry my entire life. I've appeared in over 100 films and television shows, and I've produced hundreds of hours of content with A-list talent, and I've directed more than 30 feature films that have been released across the world by major distributors. And now I'm bringing that experience to YouTube right here on this channel, and together we are gonna explore how AI is not killing filmmaking. It's opening the door for you and anyone to create cinematic stories without waiting for traditional green lights from the old school Hollywood approval chain. I'm gonna show you some real methods behind this process, and once we hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours on this channel, we're gonna release a premium cinematic series made exclusively for this channel. So hit subscribe, turn on notification, and let's jump into the 5 steps to making great AI videos. Step 1 is start with the right reference still in your color space. This is assuming you're trying to match this shot with other shots that you photographed yourself or other shots that you're using for your video. So you have to remember that when you do an AI video, you don't get neutral raw footage like you do out of a camera that you can color time later. It's very hard to color time and adjust what an AI shot looks like. The AI is going to make creative choices for you on color, exposure, the entire look of the shot. And most of the time it's wrong. It won't match your vision and it won't match the other shots. So your job is to anchor it in your world first. Don't just give it words and spit it into the void. Give the AI a visual representation to follow of what you want. That's why picking the right reference still is important. It defines your color space, your atmosphere, and your world before any generation begins. Let me show you what this looks like. In this scene, our actor is reacting to a snake that's about to strike. We did not hire a snake wrangler, and we did not want to use a practical snake, so we only have a blank plate of grass. But I've already color timed that plate to match the warm summer palette of this episode and our show as a whole. So if we skip this step and we just ask for a snake in the grass, it's going to invent its own look. It's probably gonna give us some cold tones, a different exposure, and the 2 shots will never cut together. It'll just feel totally wrong. So by pre-grading your reference still before you start generating, you are showing the AI what your film's visual look is, and you're locking in that continuity and consistency and tone. So before you move to step 2, take a moment to dial in your reference still to match the look of the rest of your film. Once you do that, export that still as your foundation, and that's how you maintain cinematic quality and continuity throughout. Step 2, we want to create a perfect still image before we ever move to video generation. So we want to add a snake to this still shot and make it look perfect. You don't ever want to jump straight into video prompting because you're eager to see movement. I made that mistake. It's a rookie mistake, and it's one of the fastest ways to end up with inconsistent, unusable results and get burned out on the whole process. When you go to straight motion generation, the AI engine tries to do way too much at once. It tries to interpret your composition through language, your color, your camera lens, your subject placement, your lighting direction, and the behavior of whatever you're trying to create with just words, and that's when it starts making choices for you. So instead, move slower so that you can move fast. And paint one single still that you love the look of first, because it's gonna save you a ton of time in the long run. Think of this still image as your concept art in your shot setup. It's your blueprint that the AI is gonna understand much more than words, because every frame of motion that comes after this one still frame, it can pull data from, and it will inspire. It will go from this one single reference to a full moving shot that looks exactly how you want it. So getting it right in a still first saves you hours of correction later on. So let's apply that to our scene. So we want to see a snake sitting in the grass, coiled, poised, looking at our actor who is in frame left. That's our dramatic focal point here. My go-to combo is Runway, Gemini, and or ChatGPT, and each one does a little something different. I tend to find that Runway works the best. It looks the most photo real, and it tends to match my shots the best. Gemini also surprises me sometimes with excellent results. I usually don't like the stills that ChatGPT gives me, but if the other ones are failing to really nail what I want to get, sometimes I'll open up ChatGPT 2 to generate a still for me. Typically, I start with Runway if I don't use all 3 at the same time, which we'll get to in the next step. Step 3, I'm gonna call it be greedy with your time. What I mean by be greedy with your time is use multiple tools simultaneously. Anytime I'm working with somebody who wants to learn AI, it gets really aggravating if you're just hitting generate and then you're waiting and waiting to get something back that you don't like. It's the thing that's gonna slow you down the most and kill your inspiration and kill your productivity as a whole. So every AI generation platform has its own strengths and weaknesses. I really like Kling for video because it creates sharp 4K style imagery, and it gives you the kind of detail that looks like it came out of a professional visual effects pipeline. But it's terrible when you try to include text in the shot or a frame that requires quick movement. It'll break continuity, it'll lose detail and just hallucinate, and it won't match what you're trying to do. The goal is time conservation. So maximizing your output without losing hours waiting on one tool at a time. When I'm generating a still, like in this case, the shot with our snake, I'll open up 3 sites that consistently give me the highest quality. I upload the exact same reference still, this plate of the grass, to each one of them, and I give them the same prompt, and then I hit generate on all 3 at once, and I let them just work in parallel, because sometimes the results come back in 30 seconds, sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Instead of sitting there waiting and checking on one site at a time, I hedge my bets by running all 3 at once, and I increase my odds that one of them is gonna deliver something really, really good, really, really soon, and then I can move forward for my next step. It's basically a time stacking trick. You multiply your chances of getting a great result while minimizing the hours you spend waiting. Okay, before we move to the next step, I'm going to give you a bonus step. We'll call it step 3.5. Because like I mentioned earlier, each platform excels at different things. And once you start experimenting, you will get a sense of which tool to use for which shot. So for my own workflow, I find VO is fantastic for action. It understands motion and natural physics better than most. Kling, it's great for face consistency. It holds character likeness really well across frames. And Sora 2, it tends to be strong with crowd scenes, environmental depth. It's great with camera movement, but over time you'll build your own internal map of which tool is good at what. And that's how you start treating these platforms like departments in a film studio that you assign tasks to whoever's best equipped for it. And if you're ever unsure which platform to use for a specific shot, it might be an emotional close-up or a stunt or a wide establishing shot, you can drop a comment below. I actually read them and I will respond with my best advice on which tool will work for your workflow and your results. So step 4 I call prompt harder. That's my favorite step, and here's what that means. So when you're working with AI video generators, clarity is king. The AI doesn't really know what you want until you completely spell it out, sometimes 2 or 3 different ways. So when I say prompt harder, I mean you have to be specific and detailed and very redundant at times, describing exactly what you want to see. Pro tip, I voice prompt instead of typing. I find that typing my prompts slows me down. I start overthinking the words, I edit myself too much, or I don't say enough, and I lose the natural rhythm of the idea. So that's why I voice prompt almost everything. So on a Mac, you can double tap the command key to start dictation. I also use an app called Whisper, W-I-S-P-R. I'll put a link down below, which I found to be a little more accurate and responsive for long technical dictations. So voice prompting lets me describe the prompt naturally and fast because I'm speaking incomplete thoughts, and the language tends to be more expressive, and it actually leads to better results. So when you let your words flow freely, the prompt often captures more nuance in tone, movement, emotion, whatever you're going for, all the little storytelling elements that matter on screen. When it comes to taking this still that we've created and turning it into a video, sometimes I like to run multiple generators like we did with the still, if I think more than one platform might be able to handle this kind of shot well. But also, those credit costs for these videos are very real, so I don't always do this, but when I'm not sure which model will interpret a shot best, it's worth it. It's worth not waiting for a shot to come through that you don't like. So for this particular scene, I'm very confident that Kling can deliver what I want. So that's where I'm gonna start. So here's the prompt that I use for this shot, and it can sound pretty silly when it's spoken out loud, but it works. So here's the voice prompt exactly as I gave it to Kling. I say, please look at this still image. Do not change the color space or the framing at all. The only thing I want to do is add a coiled rattlesnake looking menacingly at the hand holding the fire extinguisher and left of frame. The snake studies that hand like it might be its next snack, then slowly uncoils and begins to move toward it. Do not change any of the details of the shot other than adding a snake. Do not change the fire extinguisher and the hand on frame left. Just add the snake to the shot and retain the color timing. Here's another tip. Always use objects and terms that the model is likely to recognize. So in this story, the character is actually holding bear spray, and that's an important part to the scene. But if I tell the video generator bear spray, it probably wouldn't understand that. That object just doesn't appear enough in its training data. So instead I say fire extinguisher. The AI knows what that'll look like, and it keeps the hand and the prop stable, and that's a trick to prevent the generator from replacing or warping parts of the image that you actually want to keep. AI will do the heavy lifting for you, but your job is to translate your idea into AI's language. So let's review the results. Here's what Kling gave me back. It's close, but it's not perfect. The snake looks good. It looks very good. The texture's natural, the lighting's good, the color space is consistent, but there's a small problem. You see there's a little weird split in the snake's body. It's a biological deformity that obviously shouldn't be there. So now a lot of creators would stop here, run another generation, and hope for the best. But that wastes time, and time is a precious commodity. So instead, I take a smarter route. Fix the prompt with ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever language model you prefer. I like ChatGPT because it's starting to speak in computer language back to the AI, which I find to be extremely helpful. So go back to ChatGPT and I take my original prompt, I copy and paste it into ChatGPT, but then I add to it with voice dictation. This is the shot I gave to Kling. It almost got it perfect, but the snake has a split through its belly. Can you rewrite my prompt so the snake remains biologically accurate while maintaining everything else about the original image? Keep the whole prompt under 1,000 characters since that is Kling's limit. ChatGPT rewrites the voice prompt into something more precise, cleaner grammar, sharper visual direction, and enough technical control to fix the issue. So I copy that refined version, I paste it back into Kling, and I regenerate the shot, and voila. So here is the new output, a perfectly coiled, realistic snake moving naturally in the same lighting and color space as our plate. No more deformities, no mismatched tones. It's just a seamless cinematic shot that looks like it was filmed for real or went through a professional visual effects pipeline. This step might feel like it takes longer, but in reality, it saves you time because instead of guessing and regenerating endlessly, you are working with AI to teach the other AI how to understand you, and that's the key to getting consistent, usable, high-quality results, and that's what prompt harder really means. So be clear, be specific, and don't be afraid to over-explain in a sloppy way to the AI. The more precisely you can communicate your vision, even if it's not perfect grammar, the closer the AI is going to get to thinking like a filmmaker like you. This is the final step. Step 5, which is delivering your shot. At this stage, you've done the hard work, you've prepped your references, you've built your still, you've prompted with precision, and you've generated something very close to cinematic. But the truth is that even the best AI still need a finishing touch. And I'm sure this process will rapidly evolve in the months and years ahead, but right now, there's one thing that instantly breaks the illusion of realism, and that's when a shot looks like it's an AI shot. And you know what I'm talking about. It's that strange watercolor softness, the pixel grid shimmer, the painterly texture. It feels almost animated instead of photographed. So some generators do this more than others. Kling, for example, tends to hold up really well. It gives you crisp, filmic motion, but others can look overly processed and stylized, which doesn't hold up if you're cutting it into a real sequence. So the goal is to make it look like you captured it on a camera, and your goal in this step is to ground the AI image in the language of the rest of your cinematography. In other words, we want the audience to believe that this shot was captured through a lens and not rendered by an algorithm. So luckily, you don't need any magic software to do this. You can do it in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere or any editing platform that you might have access to basic grading tools. So here's the finishing workflow. First, go into your filters and apply a noise reduction filter. I start by adding a little noise reduction. It smooths out the pixelated grid or watercolor artifacts that tend to appear in flat areas like skies or walls or skin. And the trick here is to go light. You're not trying to blur the whole image, just blend those digital edges so it feels a little more organic. Then I apply a little vignette. It adds a little softness and darkening around the edges. Like real cameras and real lenses and even film stocks themselves, they naturally vignette. So adding a little vignette gives it more of that photographic realism. Next, you're gonna wanna put a film grain on, just a little touch of film grain, nothing like heavy, not old film or damaged film, just a light texture that breaks up the digital perfection and it adds to the image. And then lastly, color match. If you need to color match, usually the AI, if you gave it a colored still reference, will already give you a perfectly matching still. But if it doesn't, just grab a neighboring still from your picture and just match the color to it. It's usually one click of a button and it'll really dial it in, and it'll make your AI not look like AI and make people say, hey, how did they shoot that? If your shot still doesn't look quite right and you want to take it a little further, you can add a lens blur filter or a chromatic aberration, just enough to mimic how real optics and light affects the lens. So Here's our finished results. The snake shot fully integrated. It now sits perfectly in the timeline beside our live action footage. The grain matches, the tone matches. It feels cinematic and real, because our goal is not to show off what AI can do, but just use AI as another filmmaking tool to help you tell your story at a professional level. So that is all of the steps. And now you've taken an AI generated image all the way from concept to screen realism. And the more you repeat this process, the faster you'll get until the AI just becomes another part of your creative toolkit. I really appreciate you guys spending time here with me. This is an incredible moment in filmmaking history. It's a time when anyone who loves telling stories can finally scale up the size of their stories, because not too long ago, if you wanted to create something epic like skyscrapers collapsing or a snake lunging straight at your camera, you would need a Hollywood budget and an army of VFX artists. But now those same ideas are possible from your laptop. The walls are down. The only limit is your imagination. And that's what this channel is about. Bridging traditional filmmaking with the new creative frontier. And everything I've learned over decades in this industry, I'm bringing here to YouTube to show you how to combine real actors, real stories, and the incredible power of AI to elevate your visuals and bring cinematic storytelling to life. So that's what we're building right now. We're building a completely cinematic series with real actors, real writers, real scripts, real artists all around, and enhancing everything with AI imagery to make it look like our budget matches that of a big Hollywood blockbuster. As we release each episode, we'll teach you how we made it. And while you're here, you can check out our completed podcast thriller series, which is a prelude to our actual series. It's streaming right now on this channel, and it uses many of the same generative techniques that we talked about today. And you'll see how story and technology can fuse into something completely new. And if you have questions, or if you're stuck on your own AI shot, please drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll do my best to help. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because what's coming next, it takes everything that we've built and it levels it up. So until next time, keep creating, keep experimenting, and when it comes to generating video to level up your game, always prompt harder.